My name is Susan, and today I'm going to talk to you about dehydration. So stick around and we'll get started right after this. So welcome back, and so I want to talk to you about dehydration. And I've been dehydrating food for about a year and a half now. So I'm by all means no expert on this, but I wanted to share with you some of the things that I've learned along the way. And if you're just beginning to think about dehydrating food, or you've been kind of contemplating it and wasn't sure how to get started, this video is definitely for you. And I will tell you exactly how I got started. The reason I got started was because I have, I think it's like a 3x3 freezer, and I'm really running out of room, and freezer space is extremely high real estate in my house. So I started dehydrating because I was running out of room, and I wanted to start with herbs because there was a lot of herbs that I wanted to grow and then dehydrate myself, as opposed to going to the store and buying a package of dehydrated herbs. Now, the herbs that I dehydrate are things like basil and parsley. I've dehydrated cilantro because I had used it for a recipe and I had lots left over and I didn't want it to go bad, so I dehydrated it. So I started with a toaster oven, actually, but again, my toaster oven is more of a larger scale oven because that's how I do my cooking. I don't use a conventional oven. So again, I didn't want to use up that because it only has an hour timer on it. So I would constantly, every hour, would have to start the timer up again. Not the greatest idea, but you know what? If I'm up, start dehydrating at crack of dawn and finish at the end of the day, then that's all great, and I'm at home all day. But that didn't always work out. So I actually purchased a dehydrator, and it's nothing fancy by all means. It's just a 5-tier dehydrator and I think I bought it for about $50 at one of the big box stores, and I've had it for about a year and a half, or a year at least, and it's worked out fantastic. When I'm dehydrating food, I can let it run. I don't have to take up my toaster oven. I don't have to, if I want to bake cookies at the same time, I can do that because my dehydrator is separate from my oven. And it can run for 8, 12, 16, 24 hours, 48 hours, depending on what I'm dehydrating will depend on how long it's going to take, right? So it's a designated little machine that will dehydrate. The great thing about dehydrating is that if you're buying food, even if you're buying organic food from a farmer or the grocery store, or wherever you happen to get your produce from, you can dehydrate it. Like I said, I had bought, for instance, I had bought some sweet Spanish peppers, and I bought a first batch and I loved the flavor of them. In fact, I loved the flavor so much I kept the seeds. So next year, when I start my garden, this will definitely be in my garden because these are actually grown in Ontario. So I know that the seeds that I took are actually going to hopefully make it if nothing gets it first. And they have a wonderful flavor. Now, what I did with these ones, not only did I dehydrate them, where are they? Nope, that's not them. Oh, here we go. I powdered them as well. So I use these in sauces. The powder I will use in a dip. These ones I will use in a sauce, in my tomato sauce. I can leave them whole, or if I find that I'm running out of the powder, I will take some of these and I will grind them down. I've also dehydrated apples which I will use in my granola bars. So that's handy to have. I've also dehydrated some zucchinis, and again, they would be in a sauce. So it's handy to have. I'm not taking up freezer space. I have more shelf space than I do freezer space. So I'm okay with putting these in the jar and putting them on the shelf. Now this one here, I mean, this was a test jar, and I did it for a video that I had created on how to preserve your zucchini. And if you want to check that out, you can. I've also done tomatoes as well. So these ones here, let me show you. These ones here are the last stragglers of my garden tomatoes. And what I had been doing was I will, so you have to kind of, there we go. It gets packed down a little bit because there is still a little bit of moisture in there. But if you shake it around and distribute the dry one, it will dry up even more. And I find that dehydrating my tomatoes, I use them more. I don't have to worry about, you know, having a huge batch of tomatoes and then them going bad after I put so much effort into growing them. I dehydrate them, which is great. And then I use them in sauces, dips, so anything you would use, maybe tomatoes to thicken things up, maybe like a ketchup. I just recently did garlic, because I had 3 cloves of garlic that I had bought, and they were sitting around and sitting around and sitting around, and before they started to sprout, right, I dehydrated them. Now I left them in slices because I still have powdered garlic, so I will leave this the way it is until I need the powder, because I find that when you use the powdered garlic and you're opening and closing the jars all the time, moisture gets in, and then I find that the garlic starts to clump when it's in a powder form. So this way it stays dry, and then when I need it, I can grind it up. Now when I say grind it up, I do have a designated coffee grinder that I had purchased at a secondhand store, and that's what I use specifically for powdering my herbs, my vegetables, my fruit, anything that I'm dehydrating. So when you're dehydrating food, and it doesn't really matter what it is, you can, like I said, you can dehydrate just about anything, but there are some certain techniques that you need to know in order to dehydrate, say, eggs or potatoes or jerky. I haven't tried the jerky yet, and as I venture out more in my dehydrating, I will put a video together for the jerky. And I also haven't done potatoes yet. You do need to boil the potatoes a little bit first and then mash them up and dehydrate them that way, so that you can preserve them as powdered potatoes. Most of my experience is from the vegetables that I purchased this year, the herbs that I've grown, and the tomatoes that I've grown, as well as the ones that I purchased. Now I do have a tomato video out there, and I'll link that as well. So I mean, the list is endless as to what you can dehydrate, and it frees up so much freezer space or fridge space. I mean, there's lots of times. I mean, how many times have you gone into your fridge and gone through what, you know, in the crisper, and all of a sudden found, you know, green onions, right? I mean, I don't know how many times I bought green onions. I made it with a recipe, and then I put the rest in the fridge, and then they went bad, you know, so I ended up throwing them out. What a waste of money. I could have dehydrated them, and then that way I'm not wasting money. I will use these in soups. I will use these in stir fries, because once it hits the moisture, it's going to rehydrate again, and you can use them that way, which is great. I mean, that's with any of the whole vegetables. Put them in the sauce, and it will rehydrate again, and then you have zucchini in your sauce. I also, now this is just for my personal reason, I'm not saying that you should do this, but if you are into making your own supplements, you know, I dehydrate. I found a source for my lion's mane, and so I buy it, and then I dry it, and I make my own capsules. I do that as well for my kale. Kale I grow myself, and then I harvest it, I dry it, and then I make kale capsules for my supplement. But you know, it's just, I'm not saying, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not saying that this is what you should do. This is what I do. I hope you enjoyed this video and it got you thinking about dehydrating. Until next time, remember to subscribe, like, and comment, and click that notification bell so that you know exactly when I'm uploading another video. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.